Hey guys, thank you for joining me in the studio. I'm in New Zealand. I'm on COVID-19 lockdown at the moment. Somebody said that they thought it was sort of like the earth telling everybody to go to their room and think about what they'd done, which I thought was kind of a nice way of putting it. As painters, it's not quite such a big deal for us to be told to go to our room because we actually love going to our rooms. Remember when I was a child, if I'd done anything wrong, then there was very little point sending me to my room because I was like, yes, I get to go play or make a plane or do a drawing, not have to do any jobs. So, you know, as painters, we can really enjoy this quiet time and do something creative with it. Yeah, we're stuck at home, and what better way to pass the time than to do a little painting? What I wanted to do was take you to a place where I would like to go for a walk right now. It's in Kinloch in the bottom of the South Island, beautiful little village on the edge of Lake Wakatipu. In fact, let's go to the map and see where it is. It's the bottom of New Zealand, so let's zoom in there. And there's Lake Wakatipu. And Queenstown, very popular tourist destination. And if you drive along the lake here, you get to beautiful little Kinloch, very small little settlement, as you can see. And right where that red marker is, see this river coming down here, that's the Buckleburn into Lake Wakatipu. And all these little trails here you can walk along. Really picturesque. So right there where that red marker is, that's where this painting was painted. So if I look at my Kinloch paintings, I notice a lot of them have this recurring theme of looking through trees to the landscape beyond, or at least having trees as a very large part of the painting. Now, a big part of the success of this painting is the treatment of the edges. You'll see a lot of variety in the edges. So very soft edges here, contrast with the sharp edges of the trunks. And even where you might want to continue a sharp edge, I've said, no, I'm going to soften it off so it disappears there. Same story here, sharp edge, coming to the edge of the painting where you don't want to draw attention, softening it off, putting it into some soft clouds, so you get that nice variety in edge. If this was all just hard edge, it would not only draw the attention to the corner here, but it also lose a chance to increase the amount of variety in the painting. And a lot of paintings that you look up, if you look up on Google right now, painting path through the trees, you'll see dozens of paintings that look like this. Trees lined up like they were planted, and basically a highway, a super highway going through the trees. Not really a path that you want to walk down. It looks like a hard slog. It's just a long way and everything's the same. It's not really interesting. So the more curve and variety I can put into this scene, the better. That's what I'm interested in painting, as a scene that I'm interested in walking through. One of the major things I did here was to take this curve of this drive and make it even more S-curvy. All right, does this now. Yeah, and I've made more of these little things here so that you get more of this beautiful curving shape, right? Something else I've done, of course, is to cast this shadow across the foreground. And that helps, first of all, to create another shape rather than having this one big bright shape, which tends to really draw the eye because it is such a big bright shape. So I wanted to break that up, and I've done that with this shadow, which joins up to this shadow here. So we've got one big shadow shape in the foreground which is pushing the eye into the light, because giving it a spray with a spray bottle. When I'm teaching, I normally teach to do that because it's great to have a process to fall back on if you lose your way. So what I'm trying to do here is look at the shapes in the tree that I can see. It's just squint down, have a look at those big shapes of light that I can see, like this one here, and try and make a nice painterly shape of that. Another thing you can do to help these trunks and branches sit better in the foliage, so they're amongst the foliage rather than poking out, is to just get a clean dry brush and just whisk over parts of them as if the foliage were blurring their edges in some parts. Ta-da! I think it turned out pretty well. That is somewhere I'd like to go for a walk. Of course, this isn't the only way to paint this painting. There's a million or more different ways that you could approach it. Just looking at this painting now, I'm thinking, well, that's a lot of green. Normally I don't really enjoy painting green, but I thought, hey, I'd give it a go. What I might do is to change all the greens into golden browns, make it an autumnal painting like that. And that actually works really well against the purple in the background, yellow and purple being complements. Then I might want to throw some more paint around, or really smush this thing up and repaint some parts of it, splatter paint on, just have fun with it. Paint it with a roller or a toothbrush, or even paint it with tiny little brushes. You could paint it and try and see just how realistic you could make it. Totally up to you how you paint it. This was just one approach, and it's a very enjoyable way to paint. So any way you do it, I hope you enjoy it and have fun. So I hope you enjoyed that little preview of the lesson, and I hope you'll join me for the full lesson. As I said, what better time than a pandemic lockdown to get a little painting done. Hey, welcome to the studio. Thanks for joining me. I thought it'd be nice to go for a walk to the lake today. And if you remember last time I took you to Kinloch in New Zealand at the end of Lake Wakatipu, and today I'd love to just ride our bikes around the end of the lake to a beautiful little spot called Kinloch, where they do great carrot cake and coffee. So let's have a look at where that is on the map. So there's our beautiful planet. I'm not sure why they put the world upside down in the maps, but they do, because clearly New Zealand should be at the top. There we go, that's better. Let's fly down there and have a look. Deep into the mountains. And here we are at Kinloch. To get there you can take a boat, a car or a bike, and every corner you turn reveals another beautiful scene. If you arrive in the autumn, you'll be sitting there with your coffee and your carrot cake and looking out at beautiful autumnal colour. Now, I often boost the saturation of the colours in my paintings, which is tricky to do on the spot, but if you're working from a photo, it's much easier. Here's how to do it on an iPad. Just open the photo, click Edit, and find the saturation. And you see you can take the saturation way down, make it grayscale, or boost it right up, make it super colorful. So the choice is yours. It's a really good tool to use. Hey, thanks for watching the video so far. I appreciate your time. Now here's 4 of the 24 pro tips that are included in the full lesson. So even if you don't go ahead and get the full lesson, I hope you enjoy these 4 tips and that they'll help your painting in some way. Okay, enjoy. Okay, so let's get going. And I'll just leave that very obscure, and I'll darken all of this down so that all this light, all this sunlit stuff here really pops out against it. Just merge these together, pretty careful, vertical strokes. Again, just vertical and horizontal strokes. Just really lightly brushing across the surface there. Lets the canvas break up that paint and give it a texture like slightly rippled water. And it's a nice contrast because you've got all this smooth paint here and then a textured brush stroke there. And we'll do a lot of that on the beach and in the light areas as well. So we're getting a contrast between smooth paint and textured paint, and also soft edges and sharp edges, and cool colors and warm colors, big shapes and little shapes. Okay, so it's all about variety. Another thing we can do is mix on the canvas. So see, I'm just grabbing little bits of paint, chucking it in there. Now let's see what happens when we lay down that. Smushes it in. And that one stroke there made this grassy looking thing under here. You can practice on your palette as well. Just see what different strokes make, you know. Oh, I like that one. That was great. See that detail in there, really nice. So I take you step by step through this whole painting process without leaving anything out, and I include 24 pro tips for your development, so that by the end of this lesson you're going to have completed this beautiful painting and also be able to use the same concepts and techniques in your next work of art. That's going to help you make paintings that are really beautiful and that you're proud of. So wherever you are, I hope you'll join me on a walk to the lake to Kinloch, New Zealand.